Hello all. So we are starting a new lecture series on fluid mechanics and fluid and turbo machinery. So this first lecture is related with the basics of fluids. My name is Sawan Mani. I am assistant professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering in Padma Bhushan Vasantrao Dada Patil Institute of Technology, Budgaon, Sangli. So we have seen various types of lectures related to power plant. So also I request you all to subscribe my YouTube channel. So this lecture series is dependent on all the subject of fluid mechanics and fluid turbo machinery, all the concepts related to these fluids and hydraulics. So the first lecture is based on the basics of fluids. While understanding hydraulics and fluid mechanics, we should know the actual way in which the various parameters are considered. So basics of fluids is the name of the first lecture. So we are going to start our lectures with this point. So first, introduction to this fluid mechanics theory. So basically, before fluid came to existence, the system was known as a hydraulics. So hydraulics, this word has been derived from a Greek word hodor, which means water, and that may be defined as it is that branch of engineering science which deals with water at rest or in motion. So basically, when the engineering systems or the science is related with the study of water, whether that water is at rest or whether it is in motion, then that word is actually known as a hydraulics. So basically, this hydraulics word came into existence from the Greek people, where the meaning of water is known as a hudor. It is also that branch of engineering science which is based on the experimental observation of water flow. Means, as we say that the Greek science is related with the study of waters. So this hydraulics is related with the study of water also and its flow also. So we say that this hydraulics word has been come into existence. Then going to next slides, after hydraulics we are having the basics of fluid mechanics. So we have just inserted one image which is just showing us the point of the application of fluid on a particular surface of water or the particle of an external agency in contact with the fluid surface. So fluid mechanics may be defined as that branch of engineering science which deals with the behavior of fluid under the conditions of rest and motion. So see, the study of fluid mechanics is necessary because we have to find the actual behavior of water under the various types of conditions, whether the water is at rest or whether it is in motion. So this behavior will give us the value like the flow of like measurement of pressure, measurement of temperature of water, then measurement of discharge, then volume contained in a particular tank by water, then various types of properties of the fluids which we are going to see in the next slides also. So this fluid mechanics is divided into three parts. So this fluid mechanics is divided into three parts known as statics, kinematics and dynamics. So in general, these also are known as fluid statics, then fluid kinematics and fluid dynamics. So let's see what are these three types of categories of the fluid mechanics. So first is, as we have mentioned, fluid statics, or it is known as statics. The study of incompressible fluids under static conditions is called hydrostatics, and that dealing with the compressible static gases is termed as aerostatics. So basically see that in this fluid statics, all the fluid will be under rest position, so there will be no any movement of the fluid particles, and if the fluid particles or the incompressible fluid study is taken into consideration, then we say that it is known as hydrostatics, or if the compressible static gases are taken into consideration, then we say that it is an aerostatics. Then going to the next point, kinematics. It deals with the velocities, accelerations and the patterns of the flow only. Forces or energy causing velocity and acceleration are not dealt with this heading. So the meaning of fluid kinematics is that only the velocity, acceleration and the flow pattern will be considered. No any amount of force will be considered during the calculation of the during the measurement of kinematics for a particular flow pattern. In fluid dynamics, it deals with the relations between velocities, accelerations of fluid with the forces or energy causing them. Means in fluid dynamics, and in combination with the pattern or the velocity, acceleration, flow, we are also taking into consideration the forces. So again, see, when the fluid is at rest, the condition is known as fluid statics. When the fluid is in motion, we consider the fluid kinematics, and when the fluid is in motion as well as we consider the forces causing the motion, then we say that it is known as fluid dynamics. There are various examples of fluid statics. When the water is placed in a particular tank and it is not at all flowing, we say that is fluid statics theory. Then when a particular bicycle rider is there who is riding the bicycle, so we say that at the same time there is a combination of kinematics and dynamics. Here in this image we are having an object over which the flow is flown here, so therefore this is also the example of a kinematics or a dynamic flow. Going to next slide, what are the general aspects while studying the basics of fluids? We know that in science the matter is defined into two basic states. First, we know that the three basic states were there for a matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. But now this matter is being actually divided into two basic parts, that is solid state and fluid state. This fluid state is further divided into two parts as liquid state and gaseous state. So therefore, now we will see this first, the solid state. In solids, the molecules are very closely spaced, whereas in liquids, the spacing between the different molecules is relatively large, and in gases the spacing between the molecules is still large. So the basic thing which will differ solid, liquid and gaseous state is in according to the positioning of their molecules. If the molecules are strong enough, they are very close enough, then we say that the state is solid state. If there is some distance between two molecules, then we say that is a liquid state, and if this distance is much larger between the molecules, we say that is a gaseous state. It means that intermolecular cohesive forces are large in solids, smaller in liquids and extremely small in gases, and on account of this fact, solids possess compact and rigid form, liquid molecules can move freely within the liquid mass, and the molecules of gases have greater freedom of movement, so that the gases fill the container completely in which they are placed. So basically, as we have differed the three states of matter, these are only related to their intermolecular cohesive forces. So if the cohesive force is large, then we say it is a solid, or vice versa. In solids, the cohesive intermolecular cohesive forces is very large. It is somewhat moderate in liquid, and it is very large it is very small in gases. So this will directly give us the type of the matter involved in particular fluids. Then a solid can resist tensile, compressive and shear stresses up to a certain limit, whereas a fuel has no tensile strength or very little of it, and it can be resist the forces, compressive forces, only when it is kept in a container. So when a solid state of matter is there, then directly we can say that these three types of stresses, that is tensile, compressive and shear stresses, they will act up to a certain limit. But when there is a fluid, generally fluid has no any tensile strength, so only it is having the compressive strength, because when it is placed in the container, it will take the shape of the container. When a fluid is subjected to a shearing force, it deforms continuously as long as the force is applied. The amount of shear stress in a fluid depends on the magnitude of the rate of deformation of the fluid element. So basically see that when a fluid is subjected to shearing force, it will continuously deform, and unless and until the force is applied. But once the force is removed, naturally the fluid will take up its own position, size and shape according to the placement in the container. Then liquid and gases exhibit different characteristics. The liquids under ordinary conditions are quite difficult to compress, and the gases can be compressed much readily under the action of external pressure. So here the external pressure is more important. If this external pressure is exerted on a particular gas or a fluid, then this will change its size and shape, and at the same time, if we take the condition for a liquid, then they are very, very difficult to compress, because for most purposes they are considered as an incompressible fluid. Now going to the actual point of the basics of the fluids, that is a fluid. So what is the definition of a fluid now? A fluid may be defined as, a fluid is a substance which is capable of flowing. It means that anything which flows can be regarded as a fluid, or anything which has a capability of flowing, it can be considered as a fluid. A fluid is a substance which deforms continuously when subjected to external shearing force. So what are the characteristics of fluids now? It has no definite shape of its own, but conforms to the shape of the containing vessel. Means when kept, for example, when the fluid is kept under a circular vessel, it takes the shape of a circle. When the fluid is kept in a rectangular vessel, it takes the shape of the rectangle. So basically, it is not having any of its own shape. It takes the shape of the container in which it is kept. Even a small amount of shear force exerted on a liquid will cause it to undergo a deformation, which continues as long as the force is to be applied. In last slide we have seen here that if the amount of shear force is continuously increased, then the liquid or the fluid will start to continuously go under deformation stage. A fluid may be classified as liquid, gas, vapor, and the types of fluids may be ideal fluids or real fluids. Then in the fluid category, we are taking one example of a liquid. A liquid is a fluid which possesses a definite volume, that is, which only varies slightly with temperature and pressure. Because here, if a fluid is considered as a liquid, or a liquid is considered as a fuel, it will possess a certain definite volume. Liquids have bulk elastic modulus when under compression, and will store up energy in the manner as a solid. As the contraction of volume of a liquid under compression is extremely small, it is usually ignored. And the liquid is assumed to be incompressible. A liquid will withstand a slight amount of tension due to molecular attraction between the particles, which will cause an apparent shear resistance between two adjacent layers. This phenomenon is known as viscosity. So see here that viscosity is nothing but a property of fluid, and this is due to the shear resistance caused by the fluid flow over the other layer. That is called the fluid resistance caused by a layer over the another layer. So basically all the real fluids will have their viscosity. Ideal fluid will have no any viscosity. All known fluids vaporize at narrow pressures above zero depending on the temperature. For gases, it possesses no definite volume and is compressible. Vapor. It is a gas whose temperature and pressure are such that it is very near to the liquid state. So for example, the vapor stage of a water can be regarded as a steam. So in this fluid category, we are taking this, we have learned these 3 points: liquid, gas and vapor. Then going to the next is type of fluids, that is ideal fluids. Then fluid as a continuum and a real fluids. So what is an ideal fluid? An ideal fluid is one which has no viscosity and surface tension and is incompressible. So as we have explained that this type of fluid is not available in nature, and therefore the actual fluid will have no viscosity, and this will act as a standard fluid. Then in true sense, no such fluids exists in nature. That is, there is no any fluid which will have a certain value of viscosity. However, fluids which have low viscosities such as water and air can be treated as ideal fluids under certain conditions. Means generally in the derivations which we are going to see in further lectures, so in that water will be considered as the ideal fluid. The assumption of ideal fluids helps in simplifying the mathematical analysis. Now real fluids. A real practical fluid is one which has viscosity, surface tension and compressibility in addition to the density. The real fluids here are actually available in nature. So generally all the amount of fluids which are given or which are available in market are known as real fluids. So they are having a certain value of viscosity. A continuous and homogeneous medium is called a continuum. A continuum is nothing but a area or the path through which the real fluids flow. So we can say that when the fluid is flowing through a pipe, then it is going to take the shape of the internal part of the pipe. So from the continuum viewpoint, the overall properties and behavior of fluids can be studied without regard for its atomic and molecular structure. So we are considering the fluid as a continuum. Then one last point which is remaining here is that liquid and their properties, because we are going to see the various types of fluid properties in next lectures, but we have only listed some of the actual points which are located, that is properties of fluids. So liquid can be easily distinguished from a solid or a gas. By visual also we can see that how a liquid can be differed from a solid or a gas. Solid has a definite shape. Liquid takes the shape of a vessel in which it is poured, and a gas completely fills the vessel which contains it. So the properties of water are of much importance because the subject of hydraulics is mainly considered with it. And so some of the important properties of water will be: first is density, then second is specific gravity, third is viscosity, then fourth is vapor pressure, fifth is cohesion, sixth is adhesion, seventh surface tension, eighth capillarity, and ninth is compressibility. So basically these nine properties are the basic properties of the fluids, and our next lecture we are going to see all the properties of the fluids. The lecture will be a special session on only giving the importance on properties of fluids. So basically just subscribe our YouTube channel. We are starting a new lecture series on fluid mechanics, so stay tuned for the further lectures also. Thank you.